When multiplying polynomials, we have two different methods we can use. We can just use the distributive property and take each term in my first parentheses and multiply it to each term in my second parentheses and then combine like terms. Or I can use the box method, where I'm going to create a table with the number of rows matching how many terms were in the first expression, and then the number of columns going to match the number of terms in the second expression. I'm going to multiply within each cell and then combine like terms. So it's just a little bit easier way for some people to see the distribution. So let's look at these two methods. So if I use just distribution, in this case I would take the x and multiply it to each term in the second polynomial. This would give me x squared plus xy, and I write xy because we write variables in alphabetical order. And then we'll do the same thing with the next term. We'll multiply it to everything in the second polynomial. So again, xy, y squared, and 6y. Now I'll combine any like terms. In this case, I have a positive xy, a positive xy. So I have x squared. There's two of those xy's. I have the 6x, the y squared, and the 6y. Now for this next one, I'm going to actually try to create the table. And if I look, I've got two terms, and here I've got three terms. So that would be a 2 by 3 table. Now when I start listing my values, I have to be very careful. This is a positive 2, but here, that is a negative 3x. I treat the symbol or the operation in front of it kind of like it's the symbol. And then I would have 6, negative 4x, and then positive 5y. Now when I multiply, I'm going to be multiplying within the cell, the row, and the column value. So this would be 2 times 6, which is 12. This would be 2 times negative 4, which is negative 8x. 2 times 5y, here's 10y, negative 18x, 12x squared, because two negatives make a positive, and then negative 15xy. Now I can look and say, can I combine any like terms? And if I look, I have the negative 8x and the negative 18x, which will give me negative 26x. So when I combine everything, I end up with 12x squared, and then I would have the minus 26x, and then I'd have minus 15xy plus 10y plus 12. So let's look at each example one more time. Say I have this 4x plus 3 quantity squared. That means 4x plus 3 times 4x plus 3, just like if we raised anything. So I'm going to distribute that first term, and then I'm going to distribute my second term. And when I do that, I end up with 16x squared plus 12x, and then plus 12x plus 9. I combine all my terms there that I can, and I'm going to end up with 16x squared plus 24x plus 9. Now let's look at this last example here. If I look at that, I have a 3 terms and 2 terms, so I would make a 3 by 2 table. I again want to pay attention to my symbols as I fill this in. So I got 6z, negative 4y, positive 5. Then I have 3y and negative 6. So now I'll just start multiplying the cells. 18yz, again, variables in order. Negative 36z, negative 12y squared, 24y, 15y, and negative 30. I combine any like terms, which in this case would be 15y and 24y. And I can write out my terms here. Negative 12y squared plus 39y plus 18yz minus 36z minus 30.